The Scandalous and Shocking Life of Alger Hiss. Alger Hiss, a prominent American lawyer and government official, became one of the most controversial figures in U.S. history due to accusations of espionage during the Cold War. Here are 10 scandalous and shocking facts about his life, each detailing a different aspect of his story. Fact number 1. Early life and personal background. Alger Hiss was born on November 11, 1904, in Baltimore, Maryland, into a family that would soon face significant hardships. His father, Charles Alger Hiss, was a successful executive but suffered from severe depression. This culminated in tragedy when Charles committed suicide in 1907, profoundly affecting the young Alger and his 4 siblings. Alger's mother, Mary Minnie Lavinia Hiss, struggled to raise the family alone, instilling in them the importance of education and resilience. Hiss excelled academically, graduating from Baltimore City College High School in 1921. He earned a scholarship to Johns Hopkins University, where he was a member of Phi Beta Kappa and graduated with honors in 1926. His academic prowess earned him a place at Harvard Law School, where he was mentored by Felix Frankfurter, a future Supreme Court justice, who regarded Hiss as one of his most promising students. In 1929, Hiss married Priscilla Fansler Hobson, a Bryn Mawr graduate and social worker. The couple had one son, Tony Hiss, who would later become a noted author. Despite his professional success, Hiss's early life was marked by personal loss and the pressure to achieve, setting the stage for his ambitious and ultimately controversial career. Number 2. Rise to prominence. Hiss's career in public service began in the 1930s when he worked for the New Deal administration under President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He held significant positions, including legal assistant to the Agricultural Adjustment Administration and counsel for the Senate Nye Committee, which investigated the munitions industry. His intelligence and dedication earned him a position as assistant to the Solicitor General and later as a special assistant to the State Department. Hiss's role in the State Department was pivotal. He was a key figure at the 1945 Yalta Conference, where he advised on post-war reconstruction and the establishment of the United Nations. His work on the formation of the United Nations, particularly his contribution to the drafting of the UN Charter, solidified his reputation as a skilled diplomat. However, his rapid rise also drew attention, leading to whispers about his loyalty and political affiliations. Number 3. Accusations of espionage. The most infamous aspect of Hiss's life began in 1948 when Whittaker Chambers, a former communist spy and editor at Time magazine, accused him of being part of an underground communist network in the U.S. government. Chambers claimed that Hiss had passed classified documents to the Soviet Union in the 1930s. These accusations were shocking and sensational, as Hiss was a respected member of the establishment with a sterling reputation. Hiss vehemently denied the charges, testifying before the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, and later in a high-profile court case. The case became a national spectacle, drawing intense media attention and polarizing public opinion. The accusations against Hiss not only tarnished his reputation but also fueled the growing fear of communist infiltration in the U.S. government. Number 4. The Pumpkin Papers. In a bizarre twist, Chambers produced microfilm evidence hidden in a pumpkin on his Maryland farm, which became known as the Pumpkin Papers. These documents were said to contain classified information that Hiss allegedly passed to the Soviets. On December 2, 1948, Chambers led investigators to a hollowed-out pumpkin where the microfilm was hidden, adding a layer of drama and intrigue to the case. The discovery of these papers made the headlines and became a symbol of Cold War espionage and paranoia. Despite the sensational nature of the Pumpkin Papers, there was still significant debate over whether the documents conclusively proved Hiss's involvement in espionage. Nonetheless, the Pumpkin Papers added to the spectacle and controversy surrounding the case, making it a media sensation. Number 5. Perjury conviction. Despite the lack of conclusive evidence directly linking Hiss to espionage, he was convicted of perjury in 1950 for denying his association with Chambers and the Communist Party. The trial was presided over by Judge Samuel Kaufman, and the prosecution was led by Thomas Murphy. The jury found Hiss guilty on 2 counts of perjury. On January 21, 1950, Hiss was sentenced to 5 years in prison, of which he served 44 months in Lewisburg Federal Penitentiary. Hiss's conviction was a significant victory for anti-communist forces in the U.S., reinforcing the perception of a pervasive communist threat within the government. It also marked the downfall of a once prominent figure, casting a long shadow over his legacy. Number 6. Richard Nixon's role. The Hiss case propelled then-Congressman Richard Nixon into the national spotlight. As a member of the House Un-American Activities Committee, WAC, Nixon played a crucial role in pursuing the investigation against Hiss. Nixon's dogged determination to expose communist infiltration was a stepping stone in his political career, eventually leading to his election as vice president under Dwight D. Eisenhower and later as president. Nixon's involvement in the Hiss case was a defining moment for him, shaping his anti-communist stance and public persona. He famously said, "To those who say the Hiss case is old news, I say it's still news. It's still a lesson in what can happen when we let our guard down." Number 7. Controversial supporters and detractors. Hiss's case polarized public opinion, attracting both ardent supporters and fierce detractors. Many prominent figures, including Supreme Court Justice Felix Frankfurter and First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, defended Hiss, believing in his innocence. Frankfurter described Hiss as a man of the most impeccable character, while Roosevelt called the trial a shocking instance of political persecution. Conversely, anti-communist crusaders like Senator Joseph McCarthy used the case to justify their witch hunts. McCarthy famously declared, "The conviction of Alger Hiss has proved that the communist conspiracy in this country has infiltrated every aspect of our society." The intense debate over Hiss's guilt or innocence reflected the broader societal divisions during the Red Scare, highlighting the fear and suspicion that permeated American society in the early Cold War years. Number 8. The Venona Papers revelation. In the 1990s, the declassification of the Venona Papers, intercepted Soviet communications, reignited the debate over Hiss's guilt. Some interpretations of these documents suggested that Hiss had indeed been a Soviet spy, lending credence to the accusations against him. The Venona decrypts contain references to a spy code named Alger, who some believe was Hiss. However, the evidence from the Venona Papers was still circumstantial, and many historians and scholars continue to debate the true extent of Hiss's involvement with Soviet intelligence. John Earl Haynes and Harvey Clare, two historians who studied the Venona Papers, argued that the preponderance of the evidence supports the conclusion that Hiss was Alger. Number 9. Attempts to clear his name. Throughout his life, Hiss maintained his innocence and worked tirelessly to clear his name. He published several books, including In the Court of Public Opinion, 1957, and Recollections of a Life, 1988, defending his position and detailing his perspective on the case. In his memoir, Hiss wrote, "I am not now, nor have I ever been, a member of the Communist Party. I have never passed classified information to any unauthorized person." Hiss's legal team also sought new trials and appeals, but these efforts were largely unsuccessful. His unwavering insistence on his innocence kept the controversy alive for decades, making him a symbol for those who believed he was wrongfully convicted. Number 10. Legacy and death. Alger Hiss passed away on November 15, 1996, at the age of 92. Despite his conviction, his legacy remains contentious. Hiss's case is often cited as a cautionary tale of Cold War paranoia and the dangers of political witch hunts. His life story, filled with ambition, scandal, and controversy, continues to captivate historians and the public alike. The enduring debate over his guilt or innocence ensures that Alger Hiss remains a significant and enigmatic figure in American history. As historian Tony Hiss, Alger's son, reflected, "The truth about my father's case will likely remain elusive, but his life and struggles continue to resonate as a powerful reminder of a fraught and turbulent time in our nation's past."